The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by... I don't have a clever... Like, I could come up with something, but it's...
It is I, the boy, joined as always by my human camouflage, Eric J. Chucki.
Yeah, that's about accurate. You are some dickbag.
Hey! I can't burp right now, otherwise
I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't. This week, for reasons, we're talking about Rick and Morty. This is a show you may have heard of on the internet.
Yes, indeed it is.
You ruined my dead air gag.
Yep.
I am, as always, a little under the weather, so excuse my coughings.
Also his wheezings. Also his other Pokemons.
God, I wasn't going to go there. You're just,
I had to.
You're ruining my training night, dude.
Yep. Ha ha ha.
No, just keep talking.
No, I'm just going to keep going.
So,
yeah, no.
You started watching the series.
Oh, yeah. Essentially, I felt enough people whose opinions I trusted on other things had recommended me the series. Enough people whose opinions I didn't necessarily trust, but respected enough had recommended me the series. And look, there's a chance they brought back Szechuan sauce from McDonald's, which is legitimately fucking delicious. So, I felt like I owed the series a couple episodes. Not even a whole season. I felt like I owed it a couple episodes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And then he was like, season 2 done, and I'm like, excuse me?
I decided if I liked it, I'd keep watching, obviously, because I needed something to watch. Sure. And I did. It's a fun show. It's funny. I don't think it's as hilarious as everyone seems to be in agreement that it is. I think it's funny and witty, certainly. But I don't think it's as fucking amazing as everyone seems to think. And I find it a little baffling. But I was just watching it on my own time, not for the podcast or anything, just because it ended up being a show I liked. When good old White Raven here said that it occurred to him that if he also watched some of it, we could make a podcast out of it, which was a good idea.
Yeah, because we've got options.
Yeah, we got a bunch of options. It's just always a matter of trying to figure out which one we're going to take.
And we don't think of this shit until Friday at the earliest, so... trying to cram that in later, especially if it was something longer than 2 hours, can sometimes be a problem. So, waste not, want not. Boy had already watched a bunch. I could watch some.
I was most of the way through season 2 when he suggested it. And I've known White a long time, as you may have heard from the podcast on, innumerable occasions. So,
We didn't do a podcast on innumerable occasions. He's mentioning that innumerable occasions on the podcast. We've talked about how long we've known each other.
That's very helpful. It's very good. Thank you.
You can check out our podcasts on Game of Thrones.
Probably.
And like and subscribe.
I'm doing the Rick and Morty thing, right?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I like you a little less today.
Oh.
So you were about halfway through season 2 when...
And I've known White a long time, so I knew he wasn't going to like the show. Like, I've known him long enough, and I put it at a 93% sure that he wasn't gonna. It wasn't gonna be his bag. It's not the kind of humor that he finds super enjoyable. It's not something that would really catch his interest, and I told him so. But he committed.
I knew that.
He committed.
I was pretty sure I was gonna go in and fucking hate this.
So what'd you think?
After the pilot, I fucking hated it.
Yeah, the pilot wasn't its best. Not its best effort. Most people agree with that.
And I watched the rest of season 1. Overall, I don't think this is a comedy.
And while I don't necessarily know that I agree, I would like the listener to hear your logic.
Yeah, well, and I spoke this to you before, but I used a different example. I think I'm going to use a more exact example now. There are lots of jokes in the Luke Cage series
That's true.
They're really funny. There's lots of clever wordplay. Nothing you'd necessarily laugh out loud at, but there's, stuff like that. But it's not a comedy. You wouldn't look at Luke Cage and go, check out Marvel's new comedy, Luke Cage. To that same sort of extent, I don't think that Rick and Morty is a comedy.
See, that's the thing that's odd to me, because it's much more aggressively silly and out there than I would consider a drama series to be.
Well, sure, and I had a hard time pinning down exactly what genre it would be if not comedy. And that's around the time I came up with the phrase that you kind of enjoyed, which was Doctor Who with farts.
Yeah. Basically, take a Doctor Who, take out anytime they would whimsy, instead murder a person or make a fart joke.
Or something with ball sacks. The show fucking loves it some testicles.
Yeah.
Everywhere testicles. And I didn't hate it after the first episode. I think I even had more patience for the ad-libbed TV show episode than you did.
Those are hands down my least favorite episodes. I know, apparently they're super popular enough that the first one got a sequel. I hate them. They're the worst kind of improv. And I get it's intentional. It's intentionally bad improv.
And you know what? That's the only reason I laughed at them was because the lack of giving a fuck when you're making a major television network produced TV show that was so evidently clear around the corners of some of those skits was
the brothers
gave me a little bit of a giggle.
And they were cracking up as they were describing things, and they didn't do another take.
In that exact meta sense, that was kind of haha. But it's nothing I'd watch again, or tell one of my friends, dude, you gotta check out this episode of fucking Rick and Morty where guys don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and whereas the comedy from that didn't shine through for me. It just seemed honestly, it seemed like two people who were fucking wasting my time. And eventually, I ended up in the second one. The first one I suffered through, but during the second one, I started skipping those bits.
Yeah, because the B storyline was pretty good.
Yeah, and during the second one,
it wasn't great, but it was all right.
During the second one, the B storyline was also good, and I in a meta way, I like the narrative of that episode, where the B storyline was this very serious, grounded personal thing between the mom and dad, between Jerry and Beth, I believe her name is? Shit, I've already forgotten. And then the funny sketch comedy, funny using all possible air quotes, was intentionally designed to undercut the seriousness of the B storyline with, these people are having this personal problem and they're struggling with their demons. Meanwhile, Rick and Morty and Summer are just sitting on the couch laughing at goofs. Lol, their concerns aren't that important. They're overly, they're just worried about stuff that isn't important. Lol. I get it. I get the meta joke. I do. The problem is the thing you were using to make that meta joke isn't funny.
Yeah. Speaking to that episode specifically, I did find the bit at the end about the butt hamsters. There was a lead into that was pretty amusing. Where they keep asking,
and he's like, you know what, fine, we'll go, and then
I liked that because it's a lot like real life when I'm
watching the same show you are, guys.
That, and then everybody keeps asking these really philosophical questions, and I'm just gonna Google it, and sometimes it's met with oh, okay, yeah, now we'll know. Sometimes it's met with, how dare you challenge my opinion with facts, and sometimes it's met with, oh, you've ruined the vibe by bringing information into this situation.
That's not what we're doing here. We're not doing information. We're doing thoughts.
Yeah, I don't have time for your thoughts. Let's go to the hamster butt dimension and see what's up.
Oh, but yeah. Overall, I've watched all the show. I've watched all both of the previous two seasons and the third season up through the current episode. I didn't like the middle of the second season as much as I liked the first season, and as of right now, I like the third season a little less than the previous two. Just because I don't... Alright, real talk, it's partially because as much as I love, clever, tricksy, guile, plan-making hero, that's cool. And I do like Rick as a character. The end of season 2 is man does right by his, and we've covered this podcast. You know how much I like that. And the beginning of season 3 says, no, it was all a clever ruse, and then it twists its mustache, and I don't like that. Why didn't you do the thing? You undercut the thing I liked.
Yeah, the show does have a little bit of that, like... actually, you've been talking about Rick and Morty for a while. We went out for Chinese the other day, and I was going to mention this off podcast, but then decided not to. But now it's kind of come up as a pertinent example. There's, I guess, a point in season 2 where Jerry does something stupid and they're in a spaceship or something like that. And Rick says that he was acting like Red Torrance, and they all laugh, and he's like, yeah, well, you're all idiots because I made that character up.
It was, I can call that up more specifically.
Please do, because I'm fucking...
There's a thing that happens where they freeze time. And at the end of the time freezing thing, it's been a long time, so they've had to clean their parents off to make sure they don't get mildewy or whatever. And I know that doesn't make sense because time is frozen. It's a fucking cartoon, let it go. So Morty's like putting his shirt back on his dad because he was vacuuming his dad.
Like you do.
Like you do. And he puts it back on backwards because he's in a hurry. And then they get through all the thing where, the time... Because they froze time to clean up the house because they had a party and it trashed the house.
Yeah.
That was the end of season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they go through the whole thing. It's been 6 months since they froze time, so they've had a lot of time to chill out and hang out. And then, the parents are... I could have sworn it was, everything was trashed. No, you're crazy. What? Mm-hmm. And at the end, when they feel like... When it's looks just about like they've gotten away with it, Beth... Yeah, it is Beth, I'm almost certain. Turns to Jerry and goes... Hey, is your shirt on backwards? Jerry goes, I like it like this. I did it on purpose. I'm not stupid. And then he walks away. Clearly, Jerry has just tried to make himself seem smarter than he is, which is kind of his thing, because he's the poop shoot.
But not a lovable poop shoot like most poop shoots. He's a shithead.
Yeah.
They tried to give him development in the episode with all the Ricks, where the stupid Rick wants to be his friend, and I'm like, you're a shit human. I don't care about you.
I think that's kind of the point. Is that you're supposed to feel what the other Ricks do.
I feel worse for the stupid Rick, because he doesn't know what he's getting into.
But, brain. Rick goes, yeah, and his name is probably wrong. That guy's the Red Torrance of pretending he knows what's going on. To which Morty and Summer laugh and they're all in on the joke. Oh, we got one over on him. Rick goes, oh, you like that? You like that? You like that Red Torrance reference? Well, he's fake. I made him up. You're your father's children. Think for yourselves. Don't be sheep. And then he walks away. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good bit. And Boy trotted it out, and he said the Red Torrance thing, and he paused, and I chuckled. And then, after I chuckled, my brain went, wait a minute. First of all, as a reference to The Shining, that doesn't make much sense, because how many Torrances are there, really? Secondly, Red wasn't a Torrance character. This is starting to break down in my head. And then Boy gave the punchline, because I couldn't figure out why I laughed. Turns out I had seen that gag on Tumblr before. Somewhere it kicked in the back of my head that this is amusing. Just in those secret processors. But I had no fucking clue at the point. So, that's the kind of setup where there's a million reasons to laugh at that. Is that you laugh at it sometimes because it's like, ha ha ha, I know what you're talking about, shut the fuck up, let's get on with our conversation. Let's get on with our lives sort of shit.
Sometimes you laugh at it because, oh, you're making a reference, I assume, based on the fact that, we're having a conversation, that you're not trying to trick me, and that's someone who was...
A llama has fallen.
Yeah, a llama has fallen. You're not trying to trick me, and therefore that's someone for whom that reference would make sense.
Sure.
But to illustrate Rick's point, it also is viciously good at doing that.
Oh, yeah, sure, exactly. But that's exactly what you're talking about. Mr. Twirly Mustache, haha, we tricked you. Okay, great, thanks. It's like the episode with all the holodecks, where at the end, Rick knew it was a holodeck the whole time. It's like, you wrote this, you shitheads. That doesn't make him clever. What the fuck? There is absolutely no foreshadowing for reasons he would know that.
The reason that's supposed to be good, though, is because it's made clear really early on that he knows.
Sure, no.
He knows that these people are fucking with him. He's just willing to go deeper down the rabbit hole than they are.
It didn't piss me off or anything. It didn't, anti-endear me to the character. I was just nothinged by it. This is the events that's going to happen.
Because you gotta think about, from Rick's perspective, too, there's every chance that he was wrong. And so that last little bit when he gives the ultimately fake Morty the recipe for the fuel to get away from their captors, that ends up being the final layer of the hologram. He gave him the fake recipe, and Morty was making it, and he didn't correct him. So...
Yeah, I mean, that's that kind of Doctor Who logic that sets in later where, the doctor was under plenty of stress at that point. We didn't get any of it as an audience until later when we overanalyzed it. But...
Well, I mean, no, I don't think that's true because, I mean, clearly it was just Rick, all right, this is where I go out, this is where I go out.
Sure.
I'm not giving up the recipe. I know, there's a possibility it's still a hologram, so either it is or it isn't. And guess what?
But you dissolve all the tension. Like, the stakes aren't really there because the hero doesn't care.
That's unfortunately Morty is the person who cares. That's how their dynamic develops.
Yeah.
Because Rick not giving a shit is kind of his deal.
Sure, yeah.
Like, his not caring about, or at the very least, making a really powerful show of not giving a shit is part of his deal. There's actually a fun bit that I know more about than they show in the show because of an interview with one of the creators. There's a thing where Rick has had a depressing experience. It's a long story, but more depressing than usual for him.
Sure.
So at the end, this song is playing, and he's just like he goes into his garage, his science garage, and he like gets this frozen life form of some type out. And he makes a big laser contraption that shoots a laser between 2 points. And he unfreezes the life form and puts it in, and the life form turns into ash. Right?
Okay.
And then he sits down, nods, turns the button to make the laser contraption go, and puts his head in between the 2 points, obviously attempting to kill himself.
Right.
But he's so drunk and sad that he just passes out before it goes off.
Okay.
That's obviously very depressing.
Sure.
But like one of the extra layer that they don't cover in the show is that machine kills not just whatever you put in it, but every version of that life form across all possible universes. So he's not just ending himself, he's trying to end all Ricks. He's so depressed that it's just fuck it. All versions of me we're done. And he's only saved by the fact that he's such a depressed, drunken asshole that he passes out before it goes off.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's very much Doctor Who. I get a lot of Futurama vibes from it, too, but not... Futurama has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bombast that this show doesn't have. This show is anti-bombast.
This show is very, disaffected.
Yeah, there's not a lot of music, and when there is music, it's like actual songs.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, it creates a vibe, but
yeah, the thing that I love Man does right by his at the end of season 2, Hurt, the 9 Inch Nails version is playing during it.
Good stuff. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just I'm not gonna watch any more of it.
I will probably mine the good bits and show you those.
Sure. I mean, if that's... I kind of would like to see... I think Dan and Aaron were in a couple of episodes. I wouldn't mind just seeing that part. And bearing in mind that I've only finished season 1, I kind of like the characters of the teacher and the principal.
Principal Vagina. Yes, the name's real.
Yeah. Honey Bottom or something like that is the other one.
I don't remember the math teacher guy.
Yeah. I don't know. Just they're funny. They like if the show had more of them in it, I would really like it. Not those characters specifically, but like that kind of humor.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's like the rest of it. It's not super funny. Like when I watched the pilot, even
for me, it's not that it's super funny. It is funny. I find it more funny than you do.
Yeah,
but it's that it's funny, and also that there is some level of seriousness involved.
Sure. When I watched the pilot, and like most of those jokes were not hitting, and a lot of Rick and Morty talking over each other, especially in the pilot, was just like fucking singing what they say.
Yeah.
And that's not funny. That's bad, nervous Let's Player. You know, it's...
And at the same time, the first episode isn't great, but I really like those bits in the subsequent episodes because there's a lot of actually really funny dialogue in those bits.
Yeah, and like a lot of their side dialogue's pretty funny. But when they got to the actual chase sequence in Customs in the first episode, I actually thought that was interesting. Like, I felt myself becoming engaged, and I was like, well, this part's kind of cool.
And their action scenes are also really good.
Yeah, like, the intrigue is there. I talked about it with a couple of my friends to just kind of gauge reaction and see what people thought of it. And a couple of us kind of agreed that it's not a bad show. It's something that if I was sitting down watching the Adult Swim block, I wouldn't turn the channel. Like, it's not like Squidbillies or something where it's like, okay, I gotta get up because this is not conducive to brain.
Yeah, Squidbillies sucks.
They had some good jokes, but it's not worth the rest of the show for those good jokes. Whereas this is fine. It's inoffensive. It's, well, it's very offensive, but it's not annoying to listen to. It's not... I liked it better than I liked the Iron Fist.
Whew. That is some faint praise. I also liked it better than Waterboarding.
But no, to give some perspective, I guess. Because there was some stuff about the Iron Fist that was good, but this was in no way interminable. The only reason I suffered through this is because it's hard for me to sit down and watch TV. That was the trial of this. And
is to get the first season done in time for the podcast.
Right. And half of 2 episodes that wasn't very good. Oh no, out of 11. Ooh, gosh.
The second season, I think I don't like the middle of it as much as the first season. I honestly think you might like it more, but not enough more to seek it out. Like, I might throw it on at some point when I'm in the living room. That way you can be over there and, headphone up if it becomes interminable. But the third season so far, I don't know. There's just something about the vibe of the show is different. Like, and it's not all bad. Obviously, there's still great bits. Like the most recent episode of the third season. There's a bit at the end with, and it's not a joke in that it's not a punchline, but it is a joke in that it's incredibly humorous in context. There's this therapist who Rick is sitting down, with his family with, and she just she says some shit that is at the same time really true and fucks and blows Rick the fuck out. Just unmakes his ass. So much so that Rick, the guy who has a comeback for everything, has no comeback. Okay. And it's really good in context. It's really fun. And it was amusing. But it's just something about the third season so far. The vibe is off. I don't know what it is. I have a hard time describing specifically. Maybe once the season's over, I'll be able to explain it better.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes, I think, was in the second season. It was... I love Stephen King. I need to preface that. I love Stephen King. I really like the novel Needful Things. It's...
Did Satan come back?
Well, yeah. So, the novel Needful Things is essentially Satan. Not like Satan, but essentially Satan. Shows up and opens a shop where he gives people stuff for free and they pay him in favors. And the stuff is fucking cursed. It's a Stephen King novel. The stuff is cursed. It ruins their lives. That's how it works. In the show, there is a similar shop opens. Summer goes to work for it.
Yeah, that was in season 1.
That was in season 1?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is, I was trying to think of what my favorite episode was, and it was probably that. And
Rick is upset. He's offended that, what was it? Except, I do stuff too, except I do it for money, and I don't curse and I don't make them half shitty because I'm not a hack. It was great. And, Satan is doing his Satan thing. He's like, let's just say you don't pay, no one pays you in money. Lo. To which, Rick opens up a shop across the street to use science to remove the curses from the cursed items. And it's and as someone who loves Stephen King and loves the novel Needful Things, is the funniest goddamn thing I've seen in at least several months.
I thought it was really good for Rick's character too, because the second it was no longer fucking with Satan.
Yeah, the second it became like actual work, and he wasn't getting what he wanted out of it. He burned the shop down.
Yeah, and left.
He's bored now.
But there was also like some commentary in how like Summer was like, no, Satan's okay. At least he's doing this. And I was like, biting. And then, what do you know? He betrays them in the end.
And then they get swole and beat the fuck out of him, leading to one of my favorite Tumblr memes of the last little while. Is just repeating videos of both Rick and Summer beating the fuck out of detestable people.
Yeah, I like that. That was a pretty good episode and all things.
To the best song in the universe for beating people up.
I kind of liked, what was it, Body World? Anatomy World?
Anatomy Land.
Anatomy Land, yeah, that was pretty good too.
Anatomy Park, because it was a Jurassic Park joke.
Yeah, that's right. That was a pretty good episode, too.
That was a pretty good episode. John Oliver was funny as fuck in that.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was David Tennant for a while, and I was like, wow, this meta just got next level.
No, it was John Oliver, and at the end, one of us has to stay behind. No, you're absolutely right. It should be me. It was a dick move of me for me to even have paused.
Yeah, you know what? That was probably the funniest episode, I think. That was the one where it was the most humor going on, most jokes. I was surprised by the voice cast. First of all, because like looking at those images, and I'm gonna take a second just now. I'm anything but an animation snob.
Okay.
I am. I can tell good art, but like, oh my god, there are little things about this show that piss me off. Number one, asshole eyes. Whoa, shit.
Our chair just broke.
Technical difficulties, everyone.
Well, continue. The show must go on.
I love this podcast. Are you okay, friend?
The show must go on.
Okay.
Ow. I'm hurt.
I am not editing any of this out in post. Wow, the legs just fucking did 90 degrees, dude.
I am either much fatter than I thought, or this was a very old chair.
It is a very old chair. We've had it for a few years.
Well, I do want to hear the rest of this opinion.
It's sat up to a lot of asses.
I'm going to get a new chair.
All right. Get one of them fat-proof chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, God, listener. Don't you love this podcast? Ultimo Dragon. I think maybe the chair broke under the weight of your smugness.
That's karma right there. I was being a smug asshole about your opinions on animation. Immediate comeuppance. Well, that's too bad. I liked that folding chair.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Well, thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Deep.
Yeah, I stole it from
my
an old
ass
movie.
Hurts.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh.
Like, comment, subscribe. Comment my asshole hurts. That way we know you're in the cool kids club.
Oh. So asshole eyes.
Yeah, asshole eyes. Everyone's eyes and asterisks. I hate that. Like it draws my eye in not a good way. That bothers me. Second, I don't know why all bodily fluids that are usually clear are like mint green. That upsets me.
It's to draw your eye to them.
Sure.
They never want you to forget that Rick constantly has like some slobber / like gross vomit, maybe?
Well, no, because when people sweat.
That's true also.
I don't remember what the tears. I think those were just white.
They're blue.
Blue, they were blue. But like sweat was green.
Yep.
That was fucked up.
I mean, to be fair, they also had a universe where pizza was sitting on chairs, or pizza was sitting on people ordering
Phones.
Phones
Phones were food.
Phones were food in that one.
That part especially felt very Doctor Who. When they're sitting there trying to eat phone food. I could just hear lame British incidental music in the background. It seems like there was something else in the animation that bothered me. I guess I don't like how simple... Beth looks like one of the characters from that phone app that was really popular about 5 years ago.
Don't know what you're talking about, fam.
You can make little comics out of yourself. I think Snapchat uses it now.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I remember that now.
Yeah, you comment if you remember it also.
Yeah, Beth Smith. I thought I was right.
Beth specifically. The rest of them don't. Oh, I remember the other thing
hair.
I hate about the animation. The little... These lips, I don't know how to...
The labia lips.
Yeah, the little sad puckered lips that go down.
When they're surprised or disappointed.
It's like a default expression. If you're not other things, you are...
Well, no, it's because they don't do that for default expression.
But they do for Morty and his dad.
Well, it's because they're supposed to be idiots.
I think they did a pretty good bit on when you cannot say retarded.
Yeah, that's why I stopped, because I felt like it would be funnier to stop. They're supposed to be idiots.
Yeah, I guess. They're so swingy. Maybe it's more of that ballsack focused humor. I don't know. I have no derision about that. It's just, look at all these ball sacks.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Ball sacks are fun. They actually do a good bit about genital humor in the 3rd season, I believe. I watched them all in a fucking marathon. Don't crucify me for not knowing when shit happened.
I only knew the other one was the 1st season because I saw it.
But I think it was the 3rd season anyway. It was essentially the space Dalai Lama's heart is giving out, and Jerry happens to be at the space hospital for unknown reasons. This is the B plot to second bullshit fucking interdimensional TV thing. The B plot is Jerry has to go to space hospital for some sort of space plague, and the space Dalai Lama is in there. And Jerry's penis and balls they could use, with minor modifications, use that to replace the space Dalai Lama's heart, or he'll die. That's the B plot.
It's a pretty good B plot.
Yeah. And Jerry is Jerry, so he wants to do it because it makes him seem like a good guy, but he doesn't want to do it because he wants his penis.
God, I hate Jerry.
And Beth doesn't at first didn't want him to do it, but then they showed her all the prosthetics that could be in place instead, and then she wanted him to do it, but couldn't say she wanted him to do it because that makes her a bad person, so she has to imply that he's a bad person for not wanting to do it. That's the B plot. And the space Dalai Lama goes, "It's okay, I understand. Earthlings' entire culture is based around their penis. It is funny to say it is small. It is funny to say it is big. It is funny, I have spent time on Earth, and I have never seen a joke about a penis fail to get a laugh."
That's deep shit.
Yeah, there's more, too. There's more deep observations. But,
watch the show.
Yeah, watch the show.
But yeah, that was one of the things that surprised me about it, was the quality of the voice acting. Looking at that animation, I was expecting...
shittier voice acting?
Yeah, just period. Maybe 1 or 2 decent voice actors, and everything else was just the creators. But they had some
I love
good
the
stuff.
main characters. Some of the fucking goof characters. They do this specific goof character voice that is Morty's cadence with a lot more joy and a lot a different sort of vocal fry on it that just raises my hackles. Mr. Meeseeks does that voice, and this is my least favorite character in the show. Not just because of his name, but partially because of his name. Mr. Poopy Butthole does that voice, and the voice is 60% of the reason why I hate that character. I just hate that voice.
I don't mind the voice. I was kind of hard on Mr. Meeseeks. I was I don't really care for him. I don't understand why everybody thinks he's so funny. But I think I connect to him on a deep level because I try a lot to help people, and goddamn, sometimes they just don't get help.
And existence is pain for you too.
Yeah. So I guess we got that. You weird blue fucker. There was one other thing I wanted to say. Before I watched this show, I saw a video on Tumblr, and some sort of YouTube channel originated. I went there and I liked it at the time, but it's been a year at least. About how deep and poignant the season finale of season 1 was. You know, about the whole
wubba lubba dub dub
thing, yeah. And I was like, wow, that is deep. That's really interesting, you know. Maybe I should give this show a shot. Clearly I didn't on that merit alone, but, you know, still, it made me believe that there was something going on there. No, it wasn't. That video, I don't know if this guy was just reading too much into this shit or not enough.
No, he wasn't wrong. It's just that it wasn't that big a part of the episode.
Yeah, it wasn't that big a part of the season.
No.
Motherfucker starts saying this shit at random at the end of some episodes when he's doing the goofy let's all stare at the audience and talk to them gag.
He says it a couple other times, but like, yeah, it's he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. It's just like the pacing of the show in revealing this whole thing isn't even that good. Because the reveal of the information and then the resolution of that reveal happened within 5 minutes of each other.
15.
No, because it's when Bird Person, is leaving with his new fuck buddy. And then it's 5 minutes later that they're out on the lawn watching Titanic.
I think it's a minimum of 10, but I'm not here to play timestamp semantics.
It's super not a lot happens in between those 2 points, I'll put it that way.
No, not really.
Goddamn, dude.
But they introduced the catchphrase earlier in the season.
Sure. It's just, I don't know, it felt, I don't want to say forced, just because forced implies too much effort.
They also immediately undercut it, which is important.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing they do, and I think that's part of the reason why the season 3 premiere I shouldn't be surprised by, because there was a really deep touching moment at the end of season 2 that they immediately undercut at the beginning of season 3, which really they only just gave it the gap, whereas in season 1 to season 2 they did the emotional moment and then immediately undercut it at the end of the same episode.
Yeah. I don't. Final 2 nerds rating is a sandwich.
Don't try and be them. That's not good.
I was trying to come up with something that was relevant, and God, my brain is running on empty. I think I've had the flu, the flu. My comedy has not been firing on all cylinders.
I'd say it's at least worth enough fucking currency to spend an afternoon at Blitz and Chits. There you go. That's relevant.
There we go. A relevant thing. If you watch anything but the pilot, you probably won't hate yourself afterward.
If you don't like it by 3 episodes in, stop.
Yeah, it's fine.
Give the pilot a chance. It's not their best work. If you don't like it by 3 episodes, which is an hour and a half less, because I'm not accounting for commercials because you can see it all on Hulu commercial free. Relatively commercial free. It is Hulu.
I didn't have any commercials the whole time.
Neither did I, but you never know.
Yeah, sure.
We get that paid Hulu, so
yeah.
So, if you don't like it by 3 episodes, then stop.
Or if it's on Adult Swim between Family Guy and a second episode of Family Guy, it's not going to kill you.
If by 3 episodes in you do like it, keep going. It gets better, and you'll like the rest. That's about it.
That's about it.
I'd like to thank the chair for giving us a couple more minutes of material.
It's a long time. We got some. The podcast looks real. Looks like we have a lot to say about Rick and Morty. We don't.
Mostly I just hurt my ass.
Mostly.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!